I'm Chef Terry Reese, and this is Tips, Tricks, and Techniques. At the dinner table, meaningful conversations about school, work, and life support children and encourage them to succeed. Parent University and Believe to Become are proud to support our show today. Hi, I'm Chef Terry Reese, and welcome to the set of Tips, Tricks, and Techniques. You know, it's picnic time out here in Michigan, and I have prepared a great picnic feast for you. So let's learn a few tips, tricks, or techniques for your next picnic. Right here, we're going to make a basil pesto salad with pasta. So one of my tricks is I got my water already going hot, and I'm going to let that go while I cook my pasta. In my blender already is some toasted walnuts that I'm using, and then I'm going to throw in a bunch of basil. That's about 3 cups of basil, and one of the reasons I like to use basil for this is I can use the stems and all. We don't have to go through and crack those stems off. And we're going to add a little bit of onion into that and a little bit of lemon juice. Now, one of the tricks I have is if you zest your lemons before you use them, you get a beautiful little zest that goes on right here. And if you just leave this zest out overnight on a piece of paper, you can collect a lot of lemon zest that you can use anytime through the year in your tea, in your water, wherever you want to go. The other trick that I have is this fork is the best investment that you've ever made. It juices your lemons for you instead of buying any other type of juicer. Just use the fork in the lemon and go ahead and squeeze just a little bit. And I happen to like mine bright, so I'll use a little bit more. And before I start to whirl this all up, I'm going to check my water and make sure that it's boiling. And it is. And now I'm going to add salt to it. And I'm going to add a hefty amount of salt. You're probably going to say, oh my, how much salt did you just add? I'm adding enough salt to flavor the pasta that we're going to add to it, and that will let us bring out a nice bright flavor for it. I'll put my cover back on the pot, and I'll help bring it back up to a boil. So while that's getting back to a boil and I can get ready to put my pasta on, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to blend my the pesto that we have going here. And a trick I've used always is to have a towel ready to go. You don't want this to go all the way through. And it'll get a little loud, and we'll add in some of our oil. And eventually that'll all start to go. If you have to, you can turn your blender off, and you can push this down a little bit. And go on again. Now, if it struggles like that for a little bit, you can cheat. You can grab a little bit of water, add it into your pesto, just so it gets to work a little bit better. Push it down, move it through. Do a little bit of what blenders love to do. And there we go. Gonna add a little bit more oil to it. Make sure that I cover it up good so it doesn't explode on me. And turn it off when it gets combined a bit. Now, the best part about this job that I have is I get to taste this and see where I'm at for salt and pepper. I need some more salt, but I'm going to wait for a little bit because I have some cheese to add into this. We'll go ahead and add some cheese. Watch the top on it again, and go ahead and blend that up. Now, one of the pet peeves as a chef I have is people will ask, what don't you like the most? And when the recipe says scrape down the sides of what you're working on, we really do mean that. You want to be able to get everything together with it. There we go. Just a little bit more and we'll have some pesto going on. So with this, taste it again. I want a little bit more salt. And yes, I like to use salt. And we will get that going one more time just to mix it up. Now, through the magic of TV, I've already got some pasta cooked. And the reason for that is I wanted my pasta to be cold when I added it to it. And if I left it just going in the water, it wouldn't be cold enough by the time. So we have our pasta that's already cooked. This happens to be a penne pasta. It's a short pasta. And so when you're using pasta for a picnic salad, you want it short. You don't want the long strands that are going on because those will get really, well, they're hard to eat. I'm going to add in about a half a bag of frozen peas. This could be anything that you have at home. Bright vegetables that you have from the farmer's markets. It could be zucchini. It could be tomatoes. It could be squash. And then I'm going to add in some red onion. If you're one of those who don't like onion and you don't like the way the onion tastes, you don't have to add that in. You just leave it the way it is. And then I'm going to add this pesto. And you want to dress your salad with a lot of dressing. That's going to let it coat evenly, make it nice and smooth. And for some of you, you're going to say, she didn't add oil to that water when she was boiling it. Well, all that does really is give you oily water. So if you take your pot of water and you boil it, and you leave enough space, and you cook it correctly, your pasta salad should come out without sticking together. It's when you overcook your pasta that you will get sticky pasta. When we cook pasta, we call it al dente, to the tooth. So we want to see how this is. Pretty nice, actually. Maybe I'll share it with everybody in a little bit. What I like to do, though, is make sure it goes into a pretty bowl. So let's spoon this in here. There we go. In a little bit, you have a pasta salad that you can use. So for the next recipe, we're going to make spring rolls, vegetarian spring rolls that can be used for hand food wherever you go. One of the parts of this recipe is a dipping sauce. And in this bowl, I have a little bit of sugar and in some water. And I'm going to add a few good shakes of rice wine vinegar. Now some people will ask, what's the difference between rice wine vinegar and seasoned rice wine vinegar? Seasoned has added salt. That's what makes it seasoned. The next thing I'm going to do is add in a little bit of fish sauce that we have here. And this is always a tricky one. Look, it opened for once for me. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons. And yes, this is where I really don't measure anything. Doesn't really matter. You want to shake it in, get a nice little color. And the nice thing about this Asian dipping sauce that we have, you can make this as spicy as you want or as mild as you want. A lot of people will stop right there. They don't like any heat whatsoever in it. I happen to like a little bit of heat. So on my board over here, I happen to have a little bit of jalapeno pepper and some garlic that is coarsely chopped. And what I want to show you is once you get it to this point, you can make it a little finer so that people don't really notice it in their dipping. Grab a hold of your knife, keep the tip of your knife on the board, and just run your knife through it a little bit, watching for your hands and your fingers, and we'll go from that point. It's very important that you let your sugar dissolve in the water, otherwise you won't get the sweetness to it. And I'm going to add that right in. And because I'm a little bit daring, I'm actually going to shake in some red pepper flakes because I happen to like them. Not many, because a few go a long way. Now I have an array of really nice vegetables here and some shrimp. This could be anything. I have carrots, cucumber, shrimp, spring mix. You could have zucchini, anything that's in your garden, peas, anything along those lines to make spring rolls. And this is one of those where if the kids want to get involved, they can make their own and set them aside. You get rice paper, any store really around you can get it, and it comes in all these nice little sheafs of paper here that we have. Sometimes a few of them are broke, just go ahead and set them aside. If you can only find a pack that's that thick, go ahead, buy it. They keep almost forever. And the trick to this is working in tepid warm water here. So I'm going to slide this in and set it down, and unfortunately we'll have to wait for a little bit. Move this out of the way here until it gets a little soft. Once you get ready and you know how to do this well and you've tried 2 or 3 dozen of them, you can get going on a production line. 2 pans of water, 1 in, 1 out, run with them and go. Let's see where this is at. You see it's still a little rough and it's hard to see because it kind of blends in there, but you will feel it, the gelatin loosen on it a little bit. Well, I call it gelatin, it's really not. So let me keep that going there here a second. All right, it's gotten a little loose. It will get a little looser as we go, and then I'm going to grab the next one and slide that in and push it down. Now the trick to rolling is to treat this like a burrito. So what do I want in mine? Well, I want a little bit of green, and this one I want a couple pieces of shrimp, some cucumber, and you notice they're cut just about the same size, and some shredded carrots here. Then I'm going to pick up a piece of the paper. You notice how loose it got from there to here. Roll it up, twist it over like a burrito. There it goes. And then set it aside. Bet you this one's just about ready to go. If you get your timing done, it works great that way. So I'll put this one in, and I'll grab some carrots. I'll make this one a vegetarian. I guess I could say vegan because it wouldn't have any meat in it. It's gotten nice and thin. Just roll it up, tuck it back, pull it, fold your sides over, as it doesn't want to come over, and that happens all the time. And just tuck it as best you can. I'll do one more here because I got the paper in. It's kind of fun to do with kids too. They get to play with water and a few things. And I like mine loaded with all kinds of fun stuff, so we'll do a little bit of it. Now if you keep it nice and tight in here, this is your key for getting it to roll right. And of course I said that, and it probably won't, but this is food and that's how it happens sometimes. You get to play with your food and it's all okay. Go ahead, roll it in, and then set it seam side down. And what you want to do is let this rest for about 30 to 45 seconds, and then they will come together and be held. If you're going to transport them, you put them in a pan with a piece of damp towel underneath and a damp towel on top, and they'll stay for quite some time. So let's see how well we did. We have my Asian dipping sauce here. Go stir that up. Now this would be much better if we had let it go for 20, 30 minutes, let it just kind of meld in. But let's cut into this one here. Let me move this so you can see it too, because it's going to be really pretty. Cut it through, and we have a beautiful spring roll. Now they're not the easiest thing to eat sometime, but I'm hungry, so I'm going to try it here. And because it's mine, I can double dip. That's good. Just like I said, I'm talking with my mouth full, you know? For your next picnic, you have to try some of these. You can make them any way that you want, stack them up. They're just beautiful, easy, portable. You don't even need to have utensils with it. Gotta try another bite. I haven't had a chance to eat today. Try it. I think you're gonna like it. Now, what's a picnic without lemonade? Pie. I have a lemonade pie recipe up next that's just to die for. And next up, we have lemonade pie, one of my husband's favorite desserts. I will tell you this, when you make it, you gotta make two. Freeze one for later and have it there. I'm making my own crumb crust today. I happen to have about 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, a little bit of sugar, and then some melted butter that's going to go in. Now, you can go to the store and buy a pre-made crust. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I've found when you want to make portable pies, it's much easier if you do them in these cute little jars. So what we're gonna do is just pop in a little bit of the crust. Get your kids to tamp it down, if you know what I mean, press it down. This will make about 6 or 7 pies if somebody doesn't lick out the bowl and eat all of it while you're doing it. And you would take those crusts and you would take them out to the oven and let them go for maybe about 10 minutes. That's the beauty of doing them in a jar. The disadvantage is it might be a little heavy if you had to carry a lot. So we're going to work on the filling. In my mixer I have a softened block of cream cheese, 8 ounces, and a can of this nice gooey sweetened condensed milk. And I'm going to blend those all together until it's nice and smooth. It is a bit sticky. See where we get here. There we go. And once again, scrape down the bowl as you can do it. And here's one of the little tips that I have. The recipe calls for 6 ounces because it's been in my family for years. They only make 12 ounces now, hence make 2 at one time. I've done one from before. This is about half of it. It's whatever brand of lemonade you want that has been defrosted. Go ahead and put that in. I can use that for a spoon rest now and mix it up. And as long as your cream cheese has been softened, this won't take very long to do. Let me drop this bowl down. We have it here. And I generally do not use anything but real whipped cream, but in this recipe I am going to use a non-dairy product. It has some stabilizers in it so you can bring it to a picnic and it won't melt. And we're just going to dump that in there. Now this is going to make it a little bit light and fluffy. Pop this up, and you just have to bring it together. It doesn't have to go for a long time. There it goes. Scrape it down just a little bit. I know I'm saying that over and over again, but you want to get it fully mixed up. And the reason for that is you don't want to bite into this and get some lemonade, some whipped cream, and then go, that wasn't what it was supposed to taste like. Go ahead and mix it up again. And there we have it. It's the filling. Pop it out. Nice and creamy. Now, if I was going to make a whole pie and I bought my own graham cracker crust, I would just pour that right into it. But since I'm going to take these on a picnic and I want them to be a little bit more portable, move this out of the way as it drops. As I said, if I was going to do this so that we are going to put it in a picnic, we are going to just put them into this little jar. The easiest way to do that is to get a piping bag and put your mix into a piping bag. And all I got to do is just fill this up, in around, and take it that way. Now I have 3 or 4 of these already done. And you can garnish them any way that you want. And this particular one, I'm going to use a couple of lemon slices, the nice little candied lemon slices, and a little bit of my neighbor's mint. I went over and picked this yesterday from her garden, and we'll put it right in the center there. And so when you're taking it to a picnic, grab your top, put it on, and you have a nice little portable 1 serving size dessert. Put this in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to overnight, or you can actually freeze them without the mint leaf in there, please, and pull it out anytime that you want a dessert. It will defrost rather quickly. So it's easy to do. You can have them for the spares. Okay, to recap what we have for an easy picnic, we made a pesto pasta salad. You can add chicken, you can add sausage, salmon, anything that you wanted to it. We also have our beautiful spring rolls with a dipping sauce that you can customize to anybody's taste. And we have a delightful, smooth, cool, creamy lemonade pie to round out your dessert and your meal. Now the other thing I have here is a simple Plowman's platter. I've added the spring rolls, put a few crackers, maybe a baguette. You have some meats and cheeses on here. We were at a concert the other night and just taken a nice little piece of cheese and a cracker, and we enjoyed the whole concert and had a great meal, and people were drooling behind us. So thanks for joining me today on Tips, Tricks, and Techniques. You can find these recipes and more at www.chefterryreese.com. And you know what? I got to taste this pasta. Thanks for watching today's show, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques. Remember, at the dinner table, much love is expressed. Life-giving conversations encourage children to believe in their unlimited potential, embrace high expectations, and seize every opportunity to achieve success in school, work, and life. Learn more about Believe to Become at ibelievebecome.org.